The title of this topic is, when do you create a new company? In QuickBooks, it's very simple to create a new company. You do that simply by clicking on File and New Company, and it takes you into what's called the Easy Step interview, which we'll talk about in the next topic. One time I was in a seminar in Colorado Springs, Colorado, and a lady raised her hand and she said, "How come I have 141 companies in my computer? Is QuickBooks creating companies, just building them up?" And I said, "No, they aren't just adding companies." She says, "Well, I have 141 companies there and I don't know why." This was a 2-day seminar that I was teaching. She came back the next day and she said, "I found out what happened. It was my husband." Husbands, we're almost always the ones that are blamed for this, and frankly, they're usually right. What happened is that her husband, every time he added a new customer in, he clicked on New Company. It was a new company for him. And then he went through the Easy Step interview for all those companies. That's not when you create a new company. She was very thankful when we showed her how to delete those companies. And also how to set up passwords so her husband can be stopped from doing that in the future. When do you set up a new company in QuickBooks? But I want to tell you when to do it now. You want to set up a new company every time you create a new company. There are 3 main reasons why you create a new company in QuickBooks. Number 1, because you were previously doing the books by hand or on another computer system and you want to convert it into QuickBooks. So you're just creating a new company in QuickBooks and you start doing the books in the computer in QuickBooks. That's the first reason. The second reason is if you're actually creating a new company in your business. You're starting a new company and you want to add that in there. You can have as many companies in QuickBooks as you want. So if you're starting a new company, you might want to start a new company with that in QuickBooks. People will sometimes ask, well, what if it's just a branch? Should I just do that? Should I set up a new company for a separate branch? Actually, the answer to that is typically no. You would want to set those up as classes, and we'll talk about classes later. A good rule of thumb for when you want to set up a company is if you have to file a separate income tax return, then you want to set those up as a separate company. If they're all with the same income tax return, then you can set those up as classes and keep track of the profitability for each of the different parts that you want to keep track of. But if you want to file a consolidated income tax return for all of those different companies, which may in fact just be branches or divisions, if you have to file a consolidated income tax return for all of those and want to have those all together in QuickBooks, you want to do that in one company. So create a new company in QuickBooks. The second reason is if you're creating a new business. Another situation that goes along with this, if you have a company that is a sole proprietorship and you change the organization to a corporation, as far as the IRS is concerned, that is a different company. So you'll want to create a new company on that. Now I'll tell you right up front that there's not a lot of change from the books for a sole proprietorship versus a corporation. It's just a matter of the ownership being changed, and you might need to talk to your accountant about how that needs to be recorded. The third reason that you may want to start a new company in QuickBooks is because you have inherited a file from a previous bookkeeper that's totally beyond repair. Hopefully it's the file that's beyond repair and not the previous bookkeeper, but sometimes it is. Sometimes you might decide that you're better off just to go ahead and start over from scratch. I'll tell you right now, in most cases you don't have to do that, but you can start over from scratch, and we'll show you a couple of things later on that may help that starting over from scratch work a little bit better. But those are the 3 main reasons why you would start a new company. And to do that, you'll go into the options that we talk about in the next topics.